As many of you know, I'm a huge fan of punk rock music. I fell in love with punk in my teens, and it's an affair I've never ended. I've been to many punk concerts and festivals in my life, and they tend to be a great place to let loose and have a good time. Any event where there are a large group of people can have dangers, but I've always found the punk community to look out for each other. Sometimes, though, hate can infiltrate your good time and turn it to chaos. On March 4, 2006, a punk festival was held in San Bernardino, California, about 60 miles or 96 kilometers east of Los Angeles. It was considered to be one of the biggest punk show events in the area and attracted a lot of media attention as it was massively hyped back then. People traveled from faraway places just to attend it and enjoy their time there. The event featured several veteran, well-loved, and celebrated punk acts including GBH, The Addicts, Total Chaos, Vice Squad, Red Alert, and Broken Bones, among others. The event was organized by SOS Records and Showcase Presents, and it was the third year the event was held at the National Orange Show Events Center in the Orange Pavilion. The concert started at 2 p.m. and everything was going fine until about 7 p.m. when the police received a call reporting a beating at the concert. Shortly after, another report came in, this time of a stabbing. But how did a fun concert turn into such violence that the police had to intervene, and what was the reason behind the fight? The trouble began when a skinhead fight erupted between anti-racist skinheads and neo-Nazi skinheads. One of the neo-Nazis aggressively advocated for white power, saying a bunch of racist nonsense and subsequently sparking heated arguments and object throwing from the crowd. In situations like these, emotions run high and rationality kind of exits the situation. People often let that dictate their behavior instead of logically thinking and sorting out the disagreement. Needless to say, that was exactly what happened, because in no time the tension started to escalate. People got completely out of control and security had to intervene. Police officials used force to try to separate the instigator from the crowd, hoping that would help calm down the situation. However, as the small crew of police tried to reach the stabbing victim, they were mobbed by hundreds of concertgoers throwing rocks and bottles as they surged into the street. After a lot of struggle by the police, the injured person was placed behind a small fence. However, despite their intervention, the exchange of hateful remarks continued behind the fence, quickly building enough aggression amongst the crowd to overpower security and breach the barrier. The crowd moved from the parking lot into San Bernardino, where they began jumping on police cars, breaking headlights with their steel-toed boots, and even overturning one of the patrol vehicles. Ultimately, the police were left with no option but to use tear gas in a desperate attempt to disperse the agitated crowd, catching many concertgoers off guard. Helicopters were dispatched and a team of riot police were sent to handle the tricky situation. But that made things even worse because attendees became extremely angry and vented their frustration by destroying the venue. While getting tear-gassed by police when you originally left your house thinking you'd have a fun time at a concert is not the best feeling, many argue that it was the only option left because the situation had gotten so out of control. If that step had not been taken, the lives of hundreds may have been put at risk. Police equipped with riot gear then managed to shut down the venue and force the 1,500-strong crowd out into the venue into the streets. Sadly, many attendees who had been brought to the event by their parents found themselves unable to disperse as demanded by the police and were forced into the surrounding neighborhoods. Here, the crowd of more than 1,500 people began vandalizing local businesses and parked cars in the downtown area. Dumpsters were set ablaze and several shops were broken into, while dozens more sustained damage. That behavior continued for a while until the efforts of the police finally paid off and peace was restored. The aftermath of the event was as tragic as you can probably imagine. More than 6 people suffered injuries and 15 were arrested on the night of the concert. The stabbing victim, whose name remained undisclosed to the public, required an extended hospital stay due to the severity of their injuries. 4 police officers also sustained injuries but were treated at the hospital and subsequently released. Later in an interview, Officer Rick Lindsay of the San Bernardino Police Department remarked, quote, "The crowd began throwing rocks and bottles at my officers. 4 of my officers suffered minor injuries. The crowd destroyed 2 police cars. In addition to that, more than 40 businesses were damaged as the crowd vandalized surrounding properties." When later interviewed, one business owner, Tony Martinez, said, quote, "It was crazy. It was like the LA riots all over again." This incident serves as a stark reminder of how extremist ideologies and hate can infiltrate even the most vibrant and carefree subcultures, as was the case at this festival. In the years since the San Bernardino punk riot, the incident has served as a somber lesson for society at large and continues to remind us that a lot of aspects of our history can be quite dark. Thanks for letting us tell you this sinister story. If you enjoyed it, subscribe on whatever platform you're on, and hit like, rate it, or leave a comment. Join us next week when we'll take you somewhere sinister.